Hello and welcome back to the FloRugby channel. We are glad to have you here with us as we dive into what is a simply massive weekend of Investec Champions Cup semi-final action, where there will be two heavyweight clashes, firstly between Leinster and the Northampton Saints, followed by Toulouse versus Bordeaux-Bègles, as we look to whittle down towards who will be in our European rugby final this season. So let's break down everything you need to know ahead of this weekend's showdowns, starting, of course, with Leinster Rugby first, the Northampton. Pull away from that panic button. You are not hallucinating, you have not been transported back 12 months, and you are certainly not living in a parallel dimension. Tomorrow afternoon, the Northampton Saints will indeed take on Leinster Rugby in Dublin in a second consecutive Investec Champions Cup semi-final clash. Returning an abundance of players from their clash at the same stage of this competition last season, one could be forgiven for feeling a sense of déjà vu. Another Premiership club heading to Dublin to take on one of professional rugby's true Galactico sides. Yet whilst this clash remains somewhat of a David versus Goliath event in which the home side are once again heavily tipped to progress to a fourth consecutive final, this Saints side ain't no pushovers. While the English Midlands club arrive in Dublin further down the Premiership table than they were this time last season, they are a side who did claim a title last season, something their vaunted hosts have not done in their own domestic league since 2020-2021. Rebounding from a sluggish and at times infuriatingly inconsistent opening two-thirds of the season, the Saints have been on a heater of late. Their recent form has seen them knocking on the door of the Premiership top four with just 3 rounds to play. But right now, it's all about shocking the rugby world with a semi-final upset over a wounded but lethal Leinster side. So here is the team news first. Leinster have named Caelan Doris as captain for Saturday, with Archeus Neyman stalling into the second row, with the outstanding Joe McCarthy keeping his place with James Ryan still injured. Cian Healy and Tyke Furlong packed down with Dan Sheehan in the front row, whilst Max Deegan retains his place alongside Josh van der Fleer, and who also joins Doris in a dynamic and confrontational back row. In the backs, it's the same spine that dismantled the Glasgow Warriors a few weeks back, with Jamison Gibson Park and Sam Prendergast steering the ship from the halves, with Robbie Henshaw and Gary Ringrose in the centres. Hugo Keenan marshals the backfield, and he is joined by James Lowe and the ultra impressive Tommy O'Brien. The bench includes some heavy artillery with Andrew Porter, Luke McGrath and Geordie Barrett the standouts on the bench. The Saints have opted for stability, making just one change from the side who downed the Bristol Bears recently. Trevor Davison returns at tight head, with Curtis Langdon and Emmanuel Iogan joining him in the front row. Mayovanga and Coles continue their partnership in the second row, while Josh Kemeny, Urano Augustus and Henry Pollock form a mobile and punchy back row unit. Alex Mitchell and Finn Smith are back in tandem at 9 and 10. Fraser Dingwall and Roy Hutchinson continue in the midfield, and the trio of Litchfield, Freeman and Rand complete a sharp and instinctive back three. A 6-2 bench split suggests Saints are bracing for what will be a Leinster physical storm. Matchup wise, there are British and Irish Lions implications everywhere. Henry Pollock versus Josh van der Fleer will be ferocious at the breakdown. Out wide, James Lowe and Tommy Freeman square off in what could be a preview of potential Lions wing partnership to come. At scrum half, it's Gibson Park versus Mitchell, a clash of tempo, decision making and big game nows. But the headline subplot is of course young Sam Prendergast versus equally young Finn Smith, two of the most exciting young 10s in Europe. Both blessed with composure, vision and leadership beyond their years, Smith has already bested Jack Crowley this season and will aim to outduel Sam Prendergast in what will be hostile territory at Aviva Stadium. In terms of tactical trends, the Saints must find ways to neutralise Leinster's breakdown dominance. If the visitors can't slow rock ball, the power game of the home side will simply chew up meters and momentum. Saints will hope that Pollock & Co can take them to those dark places and disrupt their tempo in that department. At scrum time, the presence of Cian Healy suggests he'll empty the tank early before Andrew Porter arrives to wreak havoc for the remaining 50 to 60 minutes. Leinster's bench is loaded, as we've touched upon, and that's where the real daylight could appear. Barrett and Porter arriving with half an hour to 50 minutes left to play is nightmare fuel for any team, and Saints will need a significant scoreboard buffer if they're to survive that phase when Leinster unload their bench. Saints will look to exploit the much vaunted Leinster blitz defence. The Scarlets did give them a blueprint a week ago, with narrow carries and smart kicking being the order of the day. This managed to catch the Leinster defenders a little bit flat-footed. If Smith times his plays right, and Freeman or Ram can exploit Ringrose's ability to rush up in defence or Lowe's ability to jam in, Saints could break the line and put Leinster into scramble mode. But in theory, this is where this mostly lives. Realistically, Leinster are a juggernaut. They haven't conceded a single point in knockout rugby so far this season. While Saints will attack with ambition, Leinster's depth, physicality and ruthless control will prove too much over 80 minutes. Expect Northampton to have moments, but ultimately we see Leinster to win, and win big. Leinster by 15 points plus for us in this one. Shifting focus, it's going to be an all top 14 affair on Sunday as Bordeaux-Bègles host reigning champions Toulouse in front of a sold out Matmut Atlantique. And what a derby this promises to be. Toulouse top the domestic standings and are stacked with test stars, but they do arrive in Bordeaux without key playmakers Blair Kinghorn and Peyote Mavaka, who joined Antoine Dupont on the injury reserve. Bordeaux, meanwhile, have won both these meetings between the two sides this season and look to have a clean bin of health heading into this one. Yannick Roux makes 5 changes, but the core remains. Maxime Lucu and Mathieu Jalabert form one of the most intelligent halfback pairings in the tournament, and they'll steer a backline brimming with power and pace. Yoram Moafana and Nicolas Duporter pair up in midfield, while Damien Peno and Louis Biel-Biarrey man the flanks. Roman Burras, always solid at the back, completes the back 3. In the pack, Guido Petty and Adam Coleman bring serious test experience to the second row. Pete Samu adds a snarl to the back row, and the front row of Poirat, Lamont and Falatea can cause Toulouse all sorts of problems at set piece time. Toulouse, meanwhile, welcome back Roman Intimac at fly half and Julien Marchand at hooker. Ange Kapuatsu and Dimitri Delibier provide firepower out wide, while Barassi and Aki offer physicality and flair in the midfield. However, injuries are a concern. No Mavaka, no Kinghorn, and of course no Dupont. And with the engine feeling the pinch, the physical edge that normally gives Toulouse control may not quite be there this season. Statistically, this is a battle between the top 2 attacking sides in the competition. Bordeaux scored 217 points in the pool stage, whilst Toulouse scored 225. But Bordeaux's defence is where the edge lies in this tie. Their win over Munster in the quarterfinals showed they can go to dark places and still find rhythm late in the game. Toulouse just scraped past Toulon with a late comeback and looked vulnerable when slowed down. Bordeaux's challenge will be to do what so few can: win the collisions, win the floor and keep Toulouse from getting into their passing rhythm. Bordeaux are battle hardened, healthy and full of confidence this season. They've already done the double over Toulouse this season, with Lucu pulling the strings, Jalabert pinning corners and Peno ready to make magic. Bordeaux do have all the tools to cause a changing of the guard in French rugby, albeit maybe only for this season while Antoine Dupont's not there. Toulouse are still Toulouse, but the injuries and the momentum says Bordeaux. This is the moment Bordeaux overcome their hoodoo with Toulouse when it matters. Bordeaux by 6 for us in this one. Both semi-finals will be live and exclusive for viewers in the United States and North American territories on FloRugby, so make sure you check out our subscription packages to catch all of the best club rugby action from around the globe. Thank you for checking into this video, and we hope you enjoyed it. And again, if you did enjoy it, please feel free to hit that like and subscribe button.